Right, so this game, I mean, yeah, like we said, this game was actually a pretty good one in terms of kind of how it went overall. So let's get into it. Where's my pen gone? Hello? Pen? There we go. So, yeah, so I mean, again, congratulations on gold. Let's get you some points so that, you know, you can start aiming for platinum, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, that will be my next aim.
the train never stops. We keep going. Right, so
Yeah, most definitely.
like I said, this lane can be a little bit rough, purely because it's very difficult for you to actually catch Sivir with your E, and also the Vel'Koz can return a insane amount of poke. Like, Vel'Koz's job as a support here is just to poke you out as much as possible, and just stop you from actually playing the game. So right here, even this kind of opening, what you have to do against Vel'Koz is you have to position a little bit different. So like right here, for example, these front melees, will always drop really, really low in this kind of opening phase. So what you need to do is either get into the bush so that he can't see you, so that, you know, he can reactivate his Q and hit you, or stand behind these casters back here and just wait for his Q. Now, one of the big things when you're playing against Vel'Koz support is it's like, okay, once his Q is gone, you can do some damage. Now, again, one of the big mistakes, which we did this last time as well, is you took E first. You always want to go with a Q, because the E is not really going to do anything, and the plants from the E are basically melee, so they're not really going to be able to poke them out that much. So what you do instead is you take Q, you stand up on the edge of this brush, and as soon as one of your plants spawns in kind of this area, you just instantly Q it and use that to get a little bit of a harass on them. Like, your Q isn't going to drain your mana massively, and you can get a little bit of poke, which can allow a little bit more space for your Jhin pre-3, and then obviously once you get level 3 you can actually do something. So as you can see here, obviously hit you there, because the thing is with Zyra, with just your E, even if you land the root, it's not going to do anything. It's going to be terrible, you know. It's so this is kind of, you know, just biding your time. Don't have to worry too much. So
Just go poked out in the beginning too much.
a little bit,
I mean,
yeah. But see, we're positioning a bit better now. But again, his Q is down. We can potentially walk up, try and get a Q. Actually, we've got no plants. So this is kind of the only downside of Vel'Koz, because obviously he can harass us when we try and walk up. It means that our seeds are a little bit harder to actually get. So again here, we're just dodging as much as possible. So now this is slow push. Now Sivir is just going to keep pushing this in constant. Obviously, one of the reasons why it's hard to actually go on the Sivir here. Actually, you tell me, why does going on Sivir, why is it so difficult?
well, I think she has the shield.
Yeah,
So that saves a little bit. Yeah, she could. I think if you just like proc her W into the wave,
yeah,
I will also take quite a lot of damage there.
Yeah, and like the thing is, so Sivir is always good against lanes that where you're a support that only has one CC, right? So things like Zyra, Lux, and things like that. Like, since there's only one form of CC, what happens is if she spell shields it, you know, she's completely safe throughout the lane. Obviously, Jhin can land his W as well, so it's not an entirely one CC lane, but you can't really be relying on somebody else in solo queue to actually land that stuff, you know. Another big thing with Vel'Koz as well is if he's throwing out a Q and it's a max range Q like that, just walk forward instead. So here, as that's coming, instead of walking back, just walk forward, and you know, it'll split by here and it'll actually miss you. Now obviously you can recast it, don't get me wrong, but since you're in this elo, if you recast it, it's, I mean, like, I know a lot, like, there's a lot of Vel'Kozes that don't even realize they can recast it at low elo. Like, they'll just throw it out at max range permanently over and over and over, and, you know, it's also pretty difficult to reactivate, to be honest. It's one of the harder things about its kit, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So if you force him to Tatsuosi, here, another just max range, like, over and over and over. So Jhin actually got quite a lot here. So I think he did kill it, right?
Yeah. Someone with Kindred. Yeah, he got out.
Yeah, she griefed. She went for you. To be honest, here we could have just baited a bit harder. So here we don't need to play as safe. So this is kind of one of the big things now. Is there's a lot of moments in these games now where you're playing way too safe. So right here, Kindred's E is down. So what you're
Yeah.
looking for is what cooldowns did they just use in this fight. So as we can see here, there's Velkoz's Q. There's Kindred E. We just walk back to get out of it, and E and W is down, right? So what we can do now is we can bait this. So we can walk up and we can be more aggressive now. So we can come up here, start hitting them. Velkoz is quite low on mana anyway. All we have to do is dodge his E. Kindred's got no W, no E, and we've got Orianna walking down into bot lane. Now, obviously, they do know that she's on this vision, but one of the things you can also do is, since in this elo, if you start a fight with somebody right now, they don't have to do anything, right? They're just sitting there, they're not really doing anything, they're probably gonna, look down at the map. Now, what you can do in this situation, and kind of one of the ways that you can abuse this kind of gold elo, is you can actually walk up and start a fight with them. And then what's going to happen is they're going to focus on you, primarily. So then it can be like, okay, so what you do is you walk up, you start hitting them, you start pathing up here, like this. And then all of a sudden, they don't see Orianna on this vision, and she just comes and kills them both.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Trying to kind of play mind games is always pretty important, especially when they don't really have any cooldowns. Because see, they didn't even realize. I don't think. Actually, they did. I think it was when they saw her leave, they started coming back. But yeah, so I mean, we still could have gone for it. Now, either way, Jhin gets a slow push here. So now what we want to do is we want to, again, we want to start being a little bit aggressive here. We got plenty of mana, plenty of HP. So what we can do is we can kind of walk up and start doing things. So Velkoz's Q is down. So this is an opportunity that you can try and grab. Especially because Kayn is here as well, right? So I think this is a little bit that we're not really watching the minimap enough. Obviously the point that we just mentioned about the Kindred and Velkoz, that's kind of applying to you a little bit here. So right now, see, you're not really watching the minimap. So the Kayn is actually in a position that you can get on top of them, but we don't walk up. So we're not in range to do anything when Kayn is here because we're just playing back. So we dig at the exhaustor. So that's something. So yeah, so like I said, one of the main things, I think one of the biggest kind of takeaways that we have to kind of focus on is just managing our gold just a little bit better. And now it's definitely improving to what it was, but it's still a little bit all over the place. So right here, it's kind of like we only need 100 more gold and Jhin is reset. So we just wait in lane, we don't reset as well. And we just clear the minions out and we, gain that extra 100 gold, which we can use to get our boots. So right here as well, like you don't even need them to come into tower. So right here, you're making it kind of harder for yourself because right now you have more than enough HP and more than enough mana, right? So don't let them come into tower because these three are really low. So they're going to be very difficult to actually farm. So just stand here and just throw everything at them and just clear them out like that. It's not like you're going to be in any real danger. Because see now these two, like you can't even last hit those because they're too low on HP. And see now you're struggling to hit this one and this one. And see you just lost like 80 gold. Also, if you would have cleared them earlier too, so if you would have cleared them here and just got them entirely cleared off, the wave would have actually reset. Now, why do you think the wave resetting would be more valuable here?
Because that's a little bit easier, I think, for Jhin to farm up.
Yeah. So let's kind of look at what did happen, and then we can kind of piece together how it could be a problem. So right here, why is this lane state a problem?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are even, right?
Are they?
Oh, that one's lower.
So that's one thing.
Okay, so we're pushing in. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is another indicator that this wave is pushing? Think of the position of the wave. Remember what we said before? This is halfway.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen since the wave is situated here?
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you think is going to happen because the wave is even at this point?
Yeah, our minions are coming first to the red one, so they
Uh-huh.
will like,
They'll
yeah, have a harder
reinforce
push.
this. Okay, yeah, so they'll reinforce this wave first and this will push in. Now,
Yeah.
what happens here is if, say, for example, this Sivir plays it properly, then you need to reset, right? You've got 1100 gold. You need
Hmm.
to get a recall off, and the
Hmm.
Jhin is just coming back into lane
Hmm.
after spending. So what's going to happen now is this going to push in. So if they actually play this properly, then they can actually hold the wave back here. Vel'Koz
Yeah.
can kind of sit in these bushes, and he can
Yeah.
just zone Jhin off in kind of this area, and he can never
Hmm.
walk up. So
Yeah.
this is kind of one of them situations where we could have saved the lane, but we didn't really think ahead enough. So again, especially now you're pushing into kind of platinum, like wave states and kind of lane states is something that you have to kind of take control of a lot more
Hmm. Hmm.
and kind of focus on. So yeah, luckily Sivir just insta clears it and it's fine,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like we don't want to play the game in the chance that they'll mess up, right? We want to play it in a way that we will continuously win, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, like, even though it didn't turn into a mistake, it's like a punishable kind of mistake. It still kind of
Yeah.
was, you know. So at this point as well, it's kind of risky because we need to reset. So what we should be looking to do here is, I guess Orianna is here, but what we should be looking to do is just burn a ton of mana, a ton of gold, not gold, sorry, just use loads of mana and then just reset, you know. So while
Yeah.
the wave is actually in the tower here, this is actually a good point for you to reset. So since she instantly starts clearing, instead of kind of walking up here since the Orianna doesn't come, what we do is we can just recall here while this wave is in tower, and then it means
Yeah.
in this next wave we'll
Hmm.
stall at the tower, and then we'll be back in time to slow push it in, right? So
Okay.
we never want to leave our ADC alone with a slow push, because leaving ADC alone with a slow push, they will die, like
Okay.
all the time. Because it's kind of a case of, and not even the case of they'll die. It's a case of if as soon as you start playing against like platinum ADCs, like some of them will know how to control a wave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was good though. So honestly, what I would have done at this point is I would have just pushed this in, reset, and then gone and got Dark Seal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, because the thing is right now, so we've got a huge wave pushing into tower. Again, like we previously said, we can't really either Sivir, because of her shield. So we just want to spend this time to reset. Now, I think we've mentioned this before, but why does this wave being crashed into tower give you a really good time to reset, even though it's just for a Dark Seal? It's the answer is not necessarily what's going to happen with this wave, but what's going to happen in the next one or two. So in the next like minutes time.
I think there will, yeah, because this is going to be cleared by the tower pretty quickly. So
I
I think the
mean,
wave just kind of resets in the middle.
so let's watch it. Let's watch it. So see how it's kind of reset in a good position now. So at this point now, because the wave is reset, it means that if they even touch this wave, it'll push in to the Jhin. So it means that he's kind of safe. So when a wave resets, that's the time that you can look to reset as well, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, if there was a cannon, the
That was
wave would
really
end
bad,
up
by the way.
slow pushing in. Yeah, a little bit. So again, this is kind of one of them things, looking at the faces of the champions.
Oh
To
yeah,
kind
I
of
tend to
determine.
forget that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time you say it's like, oh yeah, of course.
So see here, both of their faces are both up here. So it's like there's never a reason that they'd
Yeah.
be in that kind of position. So and then here.
This is where it died. This is where the Jin didn't do anything.
Yeah, so this was kind of interesting. I mean, we did kind of flash forward, which was a little bit risky. So flashing forward is something that us on a mobile mage, we don't really want to look to do. So to be fair, we didn't even need to flash there, to be honest. We could have walked up to here and still managed to get him with our ultimate. And remember, like, because he got chain CC'd, we landed at E, which then means Jin can land his W, which then means if we ult, he'll stay in it and get knocked up.
Yeah.
And then what we can do is we can put our W down and Q it for a ranged plant. A little bit sad. I mean, the thing is, he literally has his ultimate. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Kind of odd, but I mean, you just prefer to waste it, I guess. So again, on that reset, I would have probably just gone with. Well, I mean, actually, you're left with 400 gold.
Mhm.
So you could have got a. A Dark Seal and an Amtone, which would have give you a lot more gold. So again, this kind of, like I said, making sure that we're managing our kind of wealth a little bit better.
Mhm.
So yeah, so now, again, we may as well clear these waves. There's no reason not to. We're not just going to let them die to the tower. No. So we're 0, 1, and 5 at this point. So again, quite a successful early. We've got pretty much about 60% KP. Which, you know, is very high in terms of overall. So here, this was the point where she dies, right? So
Yeah.
So Kane did get the shutdown. Shame. It would have been nice if we got it, but it's not too big of an issue. So unfortunately, you don't really have any wards here. So we should have just reset at this point. Because one of the things with Zyra is you do want to take control of the jungle, sure. But you can't do that without vision. So right here, this was rather ambitious, but like, unfortunately, she does have exhaust. We did manage to get it, which was pretty nice. So again, so this was kind of another one of the situations, right, where I think I mentioned, like, don't reset yet. Because, see, you started your recall here, but it's like you're way too far off. So you can't really reset there. What you need to do is look to, again, either get a kill or the wave, or, I mean, both. And then that gives you enough gold to actually get your Leandries. So, pretty nice skirmish overall. And we do manage to get this cannon, right? Oh no, this is where King comes. Oh no, we do get it. He just steals some of this wave, which doesn't really matter too much. So now again we have our Leandries, which, like I previously mentioned, the Shard of True Ice is also a legendary. So we're already getting 5 ability haste out of our Leandries passive, which is one of the reasons why I think these AP supports are extremely good right now. Because legendary items and Medjais are both very cheap, and it just allows these kind of AP supports to do a lot inside the laning phase. So this death was a little bit unfortunate. We kind of overextended a little bit too much. Again, see, this is the thing with Sivir. That spell shield just stops you from being able to really do anything.
If you're flashing it, yeah.
I mean, Rise Flash for support kill, I mean, that's fine, to be honest. Like, it's not really a big deal. So here we do manage to kind of shut them down and kind of stop the Baron at least. Obviously, we do die here. So one of the things here is that we just kind of kept running straight forward, right? So when you see that kind of situation, it's like, okay, well, Rise is very short range. So as soon as you start running away, you have to kind of decide, okay, I need to sidestep one way or the other. So you could have just sidestepped into this area and you would have actually survived, because you do have an Orianna up here. So opting to run like this was kind of really bad. So this was a situation we could have survived in, especially since, you know, Orianna does have that shield as well, so she can help you. So yeah. But it's okay. We did stop the Baron, and we killed the Aurelias, so that's always a positive. And then at this point, again, like, we're just looking to just play the map. Like, we have a massive amount of kind of gold in our items right now, and, you know, we're doing pretty well. So right here, honestly, like, here you just kind of beat her up. especially because you've got all these plants. And the thing is here is if she uses smite on the blue, you end up killing her. Sorry, you end up getting the dragon, which, I mean, you got it anyway, so it's kind of like a win-win situation, right? Because it's like you either get the blue buff, or you get a smite charge, which she needs for the objective. So it's like either way, you're going to end up kind of with a win. We do manage to get her there.
Yeah, that was the thing, because I saw Aurelia coming, and I was like, since blue was still pretty high, like had quite a lot of health, I wasn't sure like I could get that, and if Aurelia jumps me, then I'm just dead. So I was like, yeah, maybe I should just focus on that fight.
I mean, you had like 4 plants on it. It was pretty big, to be fair. So we get that. I mean, Zyra does actually quite like cloud dragons, just because, you know, more ultimates just really good for you, especially because you don't know about burster. So I don't know why she didn't dodge that, but, you know, we'll take it. Didn't spell shield it, I mean. So here, this is fine. Again, just stick.
That's where the Nuss is dying.
He got a little bit overconfident. I mean, we could have walked up a little bit further with him, though. So here, like, we also use this directly on top of him, which was a bit of a mistake. So instead, it's kind of like this is where all of their carries are. So instead of using it on top of him, I don't think it damaged anybody, to be honest. So what you want to do is you want to...
I was thinking that they would actually dive in on him. So that was more like my thinking, like I just planted right under him. And yeah.
Like, you want to get your ultimate between the person you want to save and the people who want to kill them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because, I mean, he does die. I mean, maybe we would have got 1 kill. Either way, it was still kind of a bit weird. So again, this game, we're pretty damn strong, and it's looking like it's going to scale. Now, one of the big things with a game like this is it's kind of a case of we know that we have a Jhin. Jhin is a huge late game team fighter. He's going to be doing roughly 2,000 damage per auto attack, like later into the game. And we've got Nasus, who again is a massive kind of team fight bully. So we can actually go for the more high ticket items because we don't need to stress as much kind of pressure on the early game. So instead of putting much pressure on the we just want to play to scale, you know?
Yeah.
So we're completely fine going with things like the Rabadons, the Wardstone as well, and we just play for that. Now, obviously, we do have Wardstone gold now. So I mean, but the thing, so this is the point where we just one-shot Aurelia. So this was good, just sitting in the brush. This is the thing as well with your plants. Now, this is another thing you want to do though. So this is like a combo that you want to start kind of learning now. So right here, one of the things you want to be doing on Zyra is throw your E, double W, and then Q them all. Because the E is just for the root, and then the Q plants are longer range, so they're a lot more beneficial. So
yeah, that was a good route. That was actually very helpful.
So here, you know, we got 10 stacks, we got 16 Magi's. You know, we just want to reset. Now again, Wardstone is, in my opinion, a higher priority than going for Rabadons right now, because you'd only get another Blasting one with Needlessly Large, which again, 60 AP, but we can instead get a ton out of our Wardstone. And again, more haste, which, like I said, it's kind of the main kind of stat that Zyra wants. So it's really good.
It's where the Oriana dies. Oh, she didn't here? I thought she died here.
No.
It was one of these fights where she died here.
Did she?
Yeah, there was one. Oh well, doesn't matter.
No. Right, so this is actually a really, really big concept, right? So right now, the Jhin and the Kayn are kind of they're just failing to go for the jungle camps, right? Now we know that obviously we can potentially. Well, this is the thing. Nasus is dead for 25 seconds, right? So we've got to wait for him to respawn anyway. And in that 25 seconds, we can get the entirety of the top camps, which then means that we only need a little bit more gold from the bottom camps in order to get our Rabadons. Now,
how much gold is in the top camps?
So it's about a kill worth of gold in each kind of area. So this is about a kill worth of gold. This is about a kill worth of gold. This is why overall, when junglers don't really go for their camps, this is why it's really big, especially if you're, say, playing jungle and you manage to take, say, 3 quadrants. Because if, say, for example, there's 6 camps on each side, right? Now, if you, say, take 1 camp away from the enemy jungler, you end up with 7, but they end up with 5. So effectively, what you do is for every 1 camp you take, you get 2 camps worth of gold out of it. Now, it's obviously where in jungling, if you can get, say, this, and this early into the game by kind of invading them. One of the things that I do in low elo sometimes is if I'm on, say, like Lee Sin, I'll take red, I'll come over, I'll get their blue and their gromp for 3, I'll kill them on wolves, take their wolves, and then go and clear my bot side. And in theory, then I've got 1 kill, and I've also secured 3 quadrants of the jungle, which is, you know. So yeah, it's about roughly a kill worth of gold. That's how you kind of want to see it. So yeah, so right now we need.
Don't look.
Pretend we don't see it. It doesn't matter too much. So the thing is, as well, at this point of the game, obviously we clear these camps out almost instantly. You know, it's very
I was surprised how quick that went.
Yeah. So as you can see there, we're gonna get about 300 gold. Well, just shy of 300, but overall it's about 250. And now it's like we still need that extra gold, so it's fine. We just go into this bot side, clear that out as well. And then we've got our Rabadons, which means that we are incredibly powerful at this point. And, you know, like the Nasus is back alive now. Kane kind of inted, but we're not going to worry about that too much. And now we're at a point where, you know, we've got our Rabadons before the Dragon, which is huge because this is the soul. Yeah. And yeah, so making sure that you're kind of thinking ahead, and you know, we're thinking, okay, well, the soul's coming up, we're very close to Rabadons, you know, we've got Medjais with 22 stacks, we got our Wardstone. If we get this Rabadons, we can just 1v5 the fight, and they're going to want to come for this dragon because it's soul. So I think it was soul. Yeah, it was soul. Yeah. So and see, look at that. Like,
that was also,
it's like how do they play into that? So again, making sure that we're just managing this kind of our kind of gold income is incredibly important, because at the end of the day, even though we're playing support, we're still a carry, right? Like Zyra is still a carry, and this is the thing, you can even go 1-for-1 on Zyra and it's still worth, because you're the support. So it's like when they've got things, I mean, Vel'Koz is a bit of an exception, but if they've got something like a Leona or a Nautilus or like even things like Nami and stuff, you know, like they're still supports. And like if we go 1-for-1, they're not going to be able to output as much damage as a 5 as what we can then as a 4, because we'll still have all our carries and it's just you instead. Let's see, all this damage is insane. Ori helps a lot here. And see, we're just going nuts. So,
yes.
So this is the thing, like, and this is just because, you know, we got to our items, we played around our item spikes, and we just played as safe as possible. We only died 3 times, which, like you said, like, this is much better than when you originally started getting coaching and you were dying, like, double-digit deaths. Like, so that's good that we've kind of controlled that now, and, you know, we're now gold, so I think we can keep pushing for platinum with the way you're playing, to be completely honest. But yeah, so we'll just leave the recording there. I'll upload it to YouTube soon. And yeah.